Hello, I'm Grainne. I'm here with Anna and we're going to be discussing the trends that we're seeing in the Northern Ireland real estate finance market at the moment. Anna, do you want to discuss some of the trends in the lending market in Northern Ireland more generally first?
Preferred sectors are varying across the big banks with increased demand in leisure, retail and living. The office space continues to be a challenge as Belfast faces the demands for ESG compliant premises in the city centre. Typically there is a much older housing stock present in Belfast in need of massive refurbishment in order to meet the requirements of the modern tenant and also funder.
And in your experience, Anna, how does the Northern Irish market compare to the England and Wales markets?
As you would expect, the broader UK market is much more expansive than that in Northern Ireland. In England and Wales, we're seeing a vast increase in the uptake of build to rent and also older living schemes, whereas Northern Ireland is very much still playing catch up in the purpose-built student accommodation and trying to fill the void in social housing which exists.
And why is it, do you think, that Northern Ireland is lagging behind on the purpose-built student accommodation side?
One of the main reasons for PBSA lagging behind in Northern Ireland is that historically there has been a massive market led by private rentals in the city. This is now starting to change as students and parents alike want certainty on quality of accommodation, all-inclusive bills, and just the understanding of, the modern day student requirement requiring a little bit more in their day-to-day living standards. In addition, the relocation of Ulster University to a city centre location has increased the student fall within Belfast massively. We're now estimating there's over 45,000 students within Belfast city centre and a shortfall of approximately 5,000 to 6,000 beds. That being said, there are currently no ongoing PBSA schemes going through planning at present, and a number that have recently been approved are yet to commence construction.
So we know social housing is a massive pinch point in the building sector in Northern Ireland. How does that feed through into the funding and financing of the projects?
So as you can imagine, the funding of social housing projects within Northern Ireland is huge at the moment. We're seeing one bank in particular funding multiple projects within Northern Ireland, and some of these are even stretching across into wider GB. Presently, I think we really need to have a focus on our investment plans for the jurisdiction in order to try and meet the fact that the demand is massively outstripping the supply at present. Currently, 50,000 people on the waiting list for social housing properties in Northern Ireland, and between 1,500 and 2,500 properties getting completed each year. So it's going to need a huge investment, massive overhaul by the local authorities, and a huge push to try and meet this demand.
And in your experience, are banks and alternative funders keen to get into the build to rent and PBSA market in Northern Ireland? Is there an appetite there?
Yeah, absolutely. The Northern Ireland Investment Fund, managed by CBRE, is actively promoting the availability of funding for both PBSA and BTR. Local banks as well have been keen to fund these projects throughout the UK. So I think there's definitely a strong appetite there, and if you can get in contact with us, we're more than happy to help you try and find your way through or help you structure some of these proposals or speak to the correct people if that's what is needed.
And in your experience, are there any particular constraints or hurdles that developers do face with these projects in Northern Ireland?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Northern Ireland has well publicised planning and development issues, in particular the issues with Northern Ireland Water at present and their inability to provide, acceptable supplies to these new housing developments is massively holding our development back. So I think it's important that the local authority and the local government are able to work together in order to progress matters and try and fill the development void.
Thanks, Anna. It's really interesting. As you can see, the Northern Irish market continues to be complex with certain challenges in the planning and infrastructure side of things. However, it's still a buoyant market with plenty of appetite from funders and developers. If you have any projects that you're interested in or if you'd like to hear more, please do get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you.